Alright, let's see what we got here today. Notebook. Poor Papa. Thank you, Bernard. Okay, so reputation is 2. Common folk don't really like me right now. The revolutionaries are fine. Oh god, what are these? Neighborhood gossips, Act 1. Reputation went up because of that. Got some influence points on day 2. Friends and family. Okay, we can... Okay. So, Mathilde, born in Paris, takes care of the household children, doesn't show outright to protect her children. Slender, handsome young man, the weight of current developments in France, slowly dawning on him. Igniting revolutionary zeal, thinks revolutionary judges should only be appointed from lower classes, because only such people can be considered untainted and able to walk towards common interest. Gullibility is more dangerous than Frederick's. Okay. Naive and innocent, which is completely normal for a boy his age. Okay, so this is the youngest son. Occasionally disobeys his mother. Carries out his father's will to the letter. Favourite toy is wooden sword. He likes to... Okay. Aldrich. Once moderately well-off merchant, today a bitter old man left with nothing but feverish visions of impossible vengeance against the Renard family. For several years he was unable to adequately provide for his family, to give his children the same standard of living they used to enjoy. Since you secured your new position at court, your family was on once... Okay, so this is me, I guess. Aldrich has grown too old and too tired to revive his long-lost career. Oh. Maybe that's my brother? Ramond de Voyer. A man who's lived long enough to fully realise justice isn't always the right answer in his line of work in these troubled times. Survival instinct. Okay. Aging commander of National Guard. Seen enough not to push trust in ordinary people, even if they are able to start a revolution. Attorney himself. He knows the law. Okay, cool. So we get an idea for these guys. So, protocol. Okay. The defendant is Oliver Mugler. Theft, burglary. Okay. And sorry, what the people expect acquittal. Revolutionaries expect prison. 65-year-old master locksmith who is famed among Parisian burglars as an expert on unopenable locks. Last month, he was commissioned by the owners of Parisian glassworks, Jean Rude, Louis Roux, and Ferdinand Salan, to... I should just go with English accents on their names. Apologies to anyone from France. I'm going to just butcher all your names. To construct locks for ornate chests for valuables, presumably as gifts for their wives. The craftsman praised his latest creation as thief-proof. Shortly following their completion, the industrialists' houses were hit by a series of burglaries committed by a recent newcomer to Paris, Hector Vian. The thief from Orleans was caught in the act and shot by Ferdinand Salan. An expensive Turgot map of Paris with the houses of the recently robbed industrialists marked on it was found on the deceased. Surprisingly, Salan had given Mugler an identical map as advance payment. This deposit was in addition to the agreed remuneration for all the employees. Ah, okay, I see. Further interesting information came from the owner of the Ginger Margot Inn. She recalled that on the night preceding the burglary, the locksmith met there with a man she didn't recognize. Based on her description, we were able to identify him as the aforementioned Hector Vian, the man allegedly engaged in an evening of drinking sponsored by Mugler. Evidence, a map of Paris. Okay. So, let's connect things, shall we? So, extenuating circumstances. There weren't really any. Evidence was the... series of burglary, famous thief. Okay. So, map of Paris. Evidence. Marks on the map. Evidence. Drunken evening. Ah, crap. No. Course of events. There we go. So that's them. So famous thief would be series of burglaries as accusation. Famous thief. Master locksmith would be commissioned by the owners of a Parisian glassworks to construct locks. Okay, so he's a master locksmith. No. Locksmithing. Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. So master locksmith would be personality. Okay. There's another one for master locksmith and for famous. Oh, famous thief I haven't done yet. Lock construction would be course of events. Yeah. Famous thief would be master locksmith would be course of events? No. Shit. Famous thief would be evidence? Okay. Extenuating circumstances? There we go. Oof. You're commissioned by the victims. So, I guess I can ask certain questions to get certain things. So if I want to go towards a certain outcome for the jury, I can ask these things to like sway things. So let's go for these first. Did you give Hector Vian the map? I gave nothing to Achilles, Hector, or any other Greek. Call in the witness, citizen Jean Rude. Jean Rude in the flesh. You'll not speak unless called upon. Naturally, of course. What went missing during the burglary? My house was the first one to be robbed, and in my case, it was mostly valuables. At Rue's house, he will not say it himself, and I do not want to go to prison. It was the letters he exchanged over the years with King Louis. Damn monarchist. Salan did not lose a thing. He shot that vermin in the act. That is what he said. What happened to the items he had stolen? That still remains unknown. According to Salan, Hector had nothing with him. Ferdinand suspects he had hidden the other valuables somewhere. He hid the other items before robbing the last house? Strange. Advance payment in the form of a map, its disappearance, the murder of a burglar, and a lack of payments for service. You look upset. What are you afraid of? Monsieur le Judge, the crowd behind me and you know what? I do not want to go to prison, and Salan said that if I were to talk nonsense in court, I would be sentenced to a few years. Is that true? Citizen Ferdinand Salan instructed you on what to testify? No. Well, he might have offered some suggestions on how not to get into trouble by speaking gibberish. I'm a rather nervous person, sometimes struggle to make sense. A fool more than a witness, that's our bourgeoisie. Rumour has it that you're one of the best locksmiths in Paris. I should deny it for modesty's sake, but I will not. That cannot be true, though, as a random thief from Orleans was easily able to open your locks. Well then, he must have been one of the best thieves in Orleans. Let's be serious, Monsieur le Judge. Every lock can be picked with the right talents, even my locks. Did you tell Hector Vian how to open the locks in the victim's trunks? I understand what you're implying, but consider this. If he sold the secret of my locks, then my business would be over forever. Word spreads fast among thieves. Do you recognize this map? No, I don't recall ever seeing it before. Ferdinand Salan claims that he gave you this map as advance payments for your services. He claims what? That wicked wretch of a second-rate merchant. He gave me a scrap of paper as payment for making 3 locks, and it's supposed to be worth more than 3,000. And it's supposed to be worth more than 3,000 francs he owes me. An honest labourer is being judged while frauds remain at large. Silence. So does this map belong to you? It doesn't. So where is the map that you received from Citizen Salan? I lost it, but it wasn't even worth a loaf of bread, so I surely wouldn't shed a tear. But if you have it, maybe you stole it from me. You'd better make a note that Oliver Mugler demands remuneration from Rude, Rue, and Salan. How much did you charge for your services? 3,000 francs. Tidy sum, that is. If you're a master locksmith, you charge that much too. That is quite a substantial fee. Indeed, that's how much it costs to have high-quality locks made by a master with nearly 50 years of experience, and those bastards never paid me a single franc. The victims did not pay you the agreed amount? Not a franc. I'd beat that money right out of them, but I'm too old for that. Did you know Hector Vian before? This is the first time I've heard that name. That is interesting, as you were seen draining several bottles of wine together at the Ginger Margot Inn. Is that a crime? No, but the question is, why are you denying it now? Was your drinking spree just a deception for discussing the burglary? Nobody I had a drink with introduced themselves as Hector. I didn't plan any heist with a Hector, Victor, or Hugo. I'm a locksmith and I earn good money from it. Burglaries are for vagrants without a job. So, if I keep going, they'll probably... I should go with acquittal. I'm pretty sure he's been set up. Were you the one who marked the... Let's do one more of these. You were commissioned by the victims to make chest locks. Who installed them? It was me, naturally, and all in agreement with the contract. My job was to prepare and install the locks, and the employer was only to come and see whether the work was completed, and pay, of course. Was the installation carried out at your workshop? No, on site at the client's property. None of those idlers bothered to deliver the trunks to my workshop, so I have to strain my old legs. Does that mean you knew the addresses of the victims? How else would I get there? Blindfolded and on a wagon? So prison would be rough there, but I'm gonna say not guilty, just purely because he's like this sounds so much like a setup by Salan. Like he very clearly got the guy to rob from the other two people and then killed him to, you know. Bravo, Mugler. Away with bourgeois. To be honest, this does bear the marks of social justice. They would not pay him, so that he had them robbed. There is balance here. Wait, what? He was guilty? What? Why do we think he was guilty? Huh. I was pretty sure he was innocent. Like, look, an authentic map by Torgo. It would be a pity if it rotted in a safe deposit box. We cannot do that. These are court deposits. Well, Mathilde did tell me long ago to take care of my study at home. There you go. I know someone who can remove these marks without damaging the map. Oh, I don't have a choice. I just take... Okay.
King Louis XVI. There were people who truly loved him.
Okay.
He reminded the French they had noble ancestors. Do not be manipulated by people who are not bearing the burden of responsibility. This saddened me. Someone had advised him to say that. Someone who was well aware of the cold, inevitable wind of change.
Okay.
I did not pity the king, but those who will come after him, as they will not have great ancestors.
So the king's basically like, yo, don't kill me, man. Frenchmen marched in the streets of Paris side by side, one line after another. So that, yeah, that makes the common folk less happy with me. To commemorate Jacques Guillaume Simoneau, mayor of Etampes, he was murdered by furious mobs, punished for a law he did not enact, but was obliged to observe. Freedom of speech killed him. If we understand this as the right to cast stones to show one's discontent, the right to murder people because you deem them responsible for your miserable life. Surely the people of Paris would prefer if we said that nothing happened. So, like, mob rule and all that kind of crap. Your son is rather good with the viola. He is both talented and enthusiastic. I would prefer that he was enthusiastic about the law books I gave him. Maybe his destiny is to become an artist, not a lawyer. Mother likes to hear me playing, and there is nothing more boring than law. See, he would rather let his career rely on the humours of the people. There are many ways to rescue France. Believe me, our country desperately needs something to ennoble it. The power is in the hands of simple, illiterate people. Let him rescue their souls with music. That is better than boring laws and clauses. See what you're doing? You're spoiling my child. I do not have my own children to spoil, so I am focusing on yours. Speaking of which, oh no, no. Okay, so after various important events, you may find yourself with an action forced upon you. On this day, you become the victim of your own decisions. So that makes these two happier, and wow, okay. You attended the parade in memory of the lynched official. I mean, I have to... Okay, there we go. So, my middle son, or oldest son, I'm not sure. Anyway, he's pissed with me. Which means the revolutionaries will be more pissed with me, or just not, you know, I won't get a bonus to them, maybe.
That is our new symbol of freedom. You can still smell the fresh wood.
Do you feel free looking at it?
Individuals like us do not need symbols, but France does. Did you hear the news of the day? People are running around like headless chickens and yelling about Louis and his entourage escaping Paris.
So, we will not be enjoying the aroma of fresh wood for long.
Monuments like that are not installed solely for the purpose of punishing thieves or lesser aristocrats.
Do you think it wants to taste royal blood?
Louis's flight was a stupid move, yet it seems it was planned. One of us will sacrifice him. That is, if they catch him.
Is that why Louis visited us at the court? To manipulate us?
Maybe deep in his heart he felt what the builders of the guillotine did. That someone has to be exposed as a traitor, even if there is none.
Okay. The thinking behind this game seems ever so slightly disjointed to me. Like, I can't follow the thought process, and it's like ripping me out of the game a little bit. Like, let me know if you guys are following, like, because I'm following the story to a certain amount, and it's interesting, but it, like, the thought process and everything there just feels very slightly disjointed to me. I don't know why. Welcome, Citizen Fidel. My name is Antoine. I am the public prosecutor that has been assigned to assist at every tribunal trial, starting from today. I should warn you that I am uncompromising, although I hope that we quickly find common ground. In happier news, the construction of the guillotine has been finished. We may begin using it today. Yes, we've seen it. The king is gone. Treason. Anyone with information about his whereabouts should immediately disclose it to the authorities. Robespierre. Who dat? Bad relationship with elder son. Adolescent rebellion has started to grow into quite adult hatred. Okay, so we have... yeah. Revolutionaries aren't happy with me. Basically. One of us. Okay. Oh, right. So the common folk expect the death penalty, no one expects prison, and revolutionaries expect acquittal. I'll probably have to go with acquittal if I want to. Fraud, price speculation, bribery. In the dock is Lucien Blanchot, a resident of the section de Gravilliers, Rue Meslay. Citizen Blanchot owes several grocery stalls. We have received multiple complaints regarding his unfair trading practices, such as selling spoiled fruit, price speculation, and the violation of legal price limits. Ms. Blanchot has denied all the accusations, but my investigation at his stalls revealed at least some of the complaints to be justified. He claims the prices were inflated due to employee mistakes, and that spoiled produce was about to be disposed of on the day of the inspection. It must be noted that when the inspectors point out his transgressions, Blanchot scolded his employees and readily set about restoring order at his stall. Lucien Blanchot, a young merchant and staunch supporter of the Jacobins. He has connections with Marat and Robespierre, or so he claims. So far he's managed to get away with all his shady dealings, so there may be some truth to his boasting. Witness 1, he sold me rotten apples, he put some fresh ones on top so I wouldn't notice. Witness 2, my husband couldn't stop retching for 2 days after eating celery he bought from this swindler. Okay, let's, so, customer complaints would be accusation. Poisoning customers would be, we're not sure. Employee mistakes would be extenuating circumstances. The defendant's connections would be personality. Rotten apples would be evidence. Nope. Caught in a trap. God damn it. Poisoning customers would be accusation. Legal price limits would be counter-revolution. Legal price evidence. Okay. So we got caught in a trap. God damn it. We don't know whether juries... I bought carrots from him myself. Please introduce yourself. Lucien Blanchot. Occupation? Currently merchant, also temporarily a prisoner. You stand accused of price speculation, breaking legal price limits, and selling produce unfit for consumption. Is that all? I asked the court to add deliberate poisoning of Parisian citizens to the list of charges. Poisoning? Stale vegetables never killed anyone. So you admit to the other charges? I am an honest entrepreneur and my business will not be harmed by such allegations. Okay. Do you admit to selling spoiled produce? This has already been established by the inspectors. There's no need to go over the matter again. Answer the question. Yes and no. Yes, because I admit that such things have been reported at my stalls. No, because it was not my fault. Whose fault was it then? I cannot be held accountable for nature not creating all apples equal. Apples are not citizens of France. But you are the owner of this business and you can be held accountable for the produce that you sell. I've never forced anyone to buy anything from me. So your customers consciously purchase spoiled food? They will buy carrots as black as coal if you lower the prices by a few francs, but they still expect them to taste as though they were fresh out the ground. He's insulting the people. Throw the scoundrel in chains. Did you know your produce made customers sick? If anyone can prove that my produce was at fault, I'll gladly cover the cost of their treatment or their funeral. They need only come forward. Try eating that muck yourself and you'll have your evidence. Let me remind you that witness testimonies will be taken into account. He was selling people shit, not food. Testimonies of jaundiced people who will do anything to hamper a wealthier man's work worthy evidence indeed. Ew. With regard to the violation of legal price limits, before Monsieur le Judge asks, let me make one thing clear. Legal price limits were never deliberately broken at my stalls, and I find such accusations to be malicious and vile. Objection! You only corrected the prices upon arrival of the inspectors. He deserves to rot in prison. The inspectors imposed a substantial fine on me that I paid without delay. I have already suffered the consequences of my negligence. A fine won't stop him from peddling rotten tomatoes. Could you explain why there have been so many complaints about your business over the years? Maybe it is because most of those complaints have been nothing but nonsensical claims from jealous loafers. And so convinced that Marat and Robespierre... Are you so convinced that Marat and Robespierre will protect you? I am convinced that the law will protect me, justice is on my side. What do you mean? The law is supposed to protect the innocent. It should be on the side of those who are wronged by... Spare us the speech, this is not the session of National Convention. Anyone understand that? Forgive me, my soul cries out for justice, so the statesmen you mentioned, Marat and Robespierre, will not have to deliver justice on my behalf. So it still says prison. Let's just go through all the questions. It seems your employees are rather prone to making mistakes. I would do everything myself if I could, but that is impossible. There was no one in Paris competent enough? Do you think so little of your fellow citizens? Well, most people are dolts. The very fact that I must defend myself in court attests to that. Did the defendant offer adequate instruction to his subordinates? I own a chain of grocery stalls, not a parish school for the dim-witted. He's insulting us. We have analysed your ledgers and discovered that you have been violating legal price limits on a regular basis. These ledgers are kept by ordinary people who are prone to making mistakes. I'll analyse them again and make proper amends. You're not at an administration office, Citizen Blanchot. These ledgers, in their current state, are evidence for the court. They are mere accounting errors, a zero or decimal put in the wrong place by mistake. It can all be explained. After all, are we not all friends of France here? Citizen Robespierre has assured me that we are. Has Citizen Robespierre also assured you that you can get away with falsifying records? Of course not. So why did you mention him? Robespierre isn't a lackey of costermongers like him. Silence, or I will adjourn the proceedings. Have they bribed the judge as well? Was her act counter-revolutionary in nature? No? What other defendants confirmed political Jacobin? What was the defendant's attitude towards the fines issued? Paid immediately. Her act. That confuses me. Okay. We should acquit, I think. Prison actually makes the people a bit happy. But I think also we should go with acquittal. The verdict in the case of Citizen Blanchot, not guilty. The defendant is free to go. Thank you for your just verdict. It warms my heart to know that we have such honourable judges. It's a mockery. Not guilty. The evidence was served on a plate. And does it matter what we have to say? You better take us into account in the future. So everyone's pissed off with me, basically. So we got plus reputation, plus influence. Influence of the jury, no. Oh. It was counter-revolutionary in nature? I didn't know that. So common folk are pissed. Enemy at the courthouse. Jury noticed you making the wrong choices and foregoing justice. Rumours spread fast. Ugh. Going against the frickin' jury is apparently a terrible idea. So let's end this video here, and we'll start up again, and we probably have time for one more case. It's interesting, and I will probably / maybe do a live stream on it at some point. However, I'm not like chomping at the bit to go through this because it seems like, and I'm gonna reference the game that I think is by the same people. I can't say for sure, but it certainly seems very similar. This is the Police. This is the Police was a very disappointing game. It seemed really interesting, but it was not. And I'm worried about this one as well. It seems interesting, but you have to have like the same line of thought as the people who made it. And I don't feel like I have the same line of thought as them. It feels very disjointed to me. So that's kind of getting in the way a little bit of like getting into the game. Anyway, yeah. Next video.